It's another beautiful day here in the Shire. But not that long ago, Renee traded hedgerows for harbors as she traveled down the Maine coast, hunting for a classic New England candy recipe, a confection that is still available there in the Pine Tree State, usually found right beside the cash register, but only in the kind of small-town country store where the cashier has 4 paws. This time, Renee's making
Needhams! This Maine-based regional candy from the 1800s is deliciously creamy and tender and has a lovely coconut finish. And you are not going to believe what the secret ingredient is. It's potatoes. And if I hadn't told you, you wouldn't know it was in there. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make this very easy recipe right in your own home. First step. Oops, wait a minute. Okay, so first we have some potatoes here. Very small amount, but they make the difference in this recipe. First I peeled them, and then I cut them into manageable chunks, all about the same size. I put them in some water and boiled them. I covered the potatoes by about 2 inches to make sure there's enough water in there. And I boiled them, simmered them until they were fork tender. Once they were fork tender, I put them through a strainer and put the strainer back on top of the pan and let them sit there while I was getting everything ready. They need to be mashed a little bit, so we are going to just take these potatoes and mash them up. You don't want to beat them or anything. Beating potatoes causes the starch to come out, and it makes them sticky. So I'm just going to do this twice through. And then I'm going to take my bench scraper and I'm going to put that right in this mixer. I'm going to take some coconut, and this is sweetened flaked coconut. You can get it in any grocery store, at least you can around here. Some confectionery sugar, a little bit of salt, and some melted butter. This has been cooled down so that it's not boiling hot. Everything is about the same temperature. And then we're going to put in some of my homemade vanilla. This has been sitting for about 3 months and it's perfect. And we're going to add a teaspoon-ish of vanilla. Whoops. You can never have too much vanilla. And then we're going to put this down, and on a very low speed, we're going to start mixing this up. I'm just going to turn it on the first setting. And we're going to let that go for a couple of minutes until it turns into a paste. Whoops, that looks great. All of it is looking like it's moist. It's all mixed in. The coconut's mixed in evenly. I'm very happy with that. So now what we're going to do is for 30 seconds, we're going to turn the speed up to about a medium and let that fluff up just a little bit. All right, that looks great. And believe it or not, that is the base of this whole thing. I'm gonna stir that all together. All the sugar is gone from the sides. Everything is mixed perfectly. And you've got this nice, smooth filling that's going to be the filling of this candy. I have a 9 by 9 inch cake pan, and so I've put a little bit of butter around the pan. I want to be able to lift these things out, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this parchment paper in, and if you go like this, you're going to get icky corners. See how that corner is just... So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the corners of this parchment paper on each corner, and we're going to push this down inside. And when you put that down, those corners become much more usable. And now you've got corners that are not going to interfere with the shape of these. We're going to put some butter on this because these are going to, we want it to come off easily. So we're going to take some butter and just butter this pan inside. The butter actually gives this some additional flavor on the bottom here. So, all right, that's buttered nicely. And someone asked on the last video what this butter thing was. So this is a butter bell, and it actually holds your butter inside of the container, and it's got water in there that I change every day. It keeps it sealed so that when you have butter sitting on the counter for your toast or whatever, you know, when a butter dish or anything, this seals it so that it just keeps it so incredibly fresh. I can't even tell you. I've never heard of one of these, and I went to a kitchen store recently and saw this, and they said, oh, that's the best thing ever. And it really, really is. So this is a butter bell. There's all kinds of them on Amazon, and you'll love it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to scoop this up and put this in this pan. And then we're just going to squish that over to the sides until it's an even layer. Make sure you scrape down along the edges so that that's all, you're trying to get this even and flat. And then I like to take this handy dandy, what is this? A roller. It's just a roller that, I don't know if it has a special name, but it's a roller. And I just use it to flatten things. And we're just going to make sure that all of everything is the same depth. And I am going to push those sides down again. You can tell by looking at it that it's evenly placed in this pan. And then we're going to let that sit just like this for about an hour so that all of that melds together really well. And we'll be back for the next step, which makes this the Needhams. So we'll be back. So Maine is known as vacation land. If you've ever been to Maine, type Maine and let me know where. And if you haven't, say not yet and tell me where you'd like to go. I'd love to know. Okay, so the next step, these have been sitting for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and melt some chocolate. This is unsweetened chocolate. It's Ghirardelli. And I'm just gonna break this up a little bit, put that in there. I have I've made my own little double boiler here. I've got water in the bottom and a pan here, and that is so that it doesn't burn to the bottom of the pan here because it's really hard to deal with chocolate with the temperature. So we've got some chocolate here. I'm going to put some of this in, and about a little less than a tablespoon of either vegetable oil or canola oil or something like that, just to give that little shine. I'm not going to temper this today. And we're going to let this melt, and you can see already that chocolate is already melting on the bottom because I got this going before we started doing this. So we're just going to let this get hot and melt, and we'll keep an eye on that. And in the meantime, we're going to take our parchment paper and just pull this out and put it on the counter. And these get harder as the longer they sit. I'm going to pull that paper away. And then we're going to take I'm making these about 1.5 inches square. And then again on the other side, we'll turn this around. And like I said, the longer these sit, the harder they get. But I found that they're still soft when you put them in the chocolate, and that's okay. Some of my squares are rectangles, but I won't tell if you don't. Okay, and that's as easy as that gets. So we're going to stir this up again. I've got this on about a medium high. It doesn't take much to melt this. And you can see how shiny that chocolate is. Okay, that's good enough for now. And then the first thing we're going to do is take one of these out. I have found this is the easiest way to do this. I drop those in and I just turn it over with the fork. And then I take my fork, pick that up, scrape that off, and then I'm just going to bring it over here. The chopstick is just a nice way to help get through that. So you just dip it, scrape it, and put it down on the pan. And that is as easy as that is. And now what I'm going to do is I'll finish these up and we'll come back and I'll taste them for you. Okay, so these are done. They were a little warm because of the chocolate. So I'm going to get the ones that I put in the refrigerator so I can show them to you and we can do a taste test.
Chill. Needhams need a minute. Let the cocoa set with the spuddy love in it. Chill, baby, chill. Don't like spark.
Okay, so here they are. See, they've gotten cold, but the chocolate is nice and hard. This is still setting, but these look gorgeous on the bottom. You've got they've completely encased in that chocolate. And so let's take a bite and try it. This one looks really yummy and chocolatey. So here we go. Oh my word. I feel like I have chocolate. The texture is kind of like a peppermint patty with coconut. The potato, which you don't taste at all, is holding that all together. You could even make these smaller so they're bite-sized, but these are delicious. And I think more people should know about these. Thank you.
Ready for seconds? Don't put your spoon down yet. Tap this video and Renee will meet you there.